Welcome to the Crone Stories. I'm Karen. This is a podcast for women in the middle of their lives, and each episode is one woman's story told with care. Before we begin, two small things. If you have not followed the show yet, please do that now, wherever you're listening. It's the one thing that helps these stories find the women who need them. I'm also gathering stories for season 2 right now. If you are somewhere inside your own becoming, or you know a woman who is, I would love to hear from you. You can find me at karenamy.com or check out the form in the show notes. And now, this is one of those stories. Welcome to the Crone Stories. I'm Karen. I want you to imagine something with me. Imagine you stepped off a plane 6 years ago and the ground never stopped moving. Not spinning, not dizziness exactly, rocking. A slow, constant sway, like the world beneath you cannot quite settle. And everyone around you is standing on solid ground, wondering why you are holding on to the counter. There is a name for this. Mal de Débarquement Syndrome, MDDS. The sickness of disembarkation. Most doctors have never seen it. Most of us have never heard of it. And it comes almost entirely for women. Mostly women in midlife, in their 40s and 50s, in the fullest, busiest years of their lives. The ear tests come back perfect. The scans come back clean. And so many of these women spend years being tested, dismissed, and sent home with no answers. Researchers are only beginning to understand it. And one of the things they are looking at is hormones. So many women report the rocking, shifting with their cycles, arriving or deepening around menopause, as if the hormonal shifts of midlife leave a door open that was closed before. There is one more thread to this story I want to hand you before we begin. Some years ago, a psychiatrist named Bessel van der Kolk wrote a book called The Body Keeps the Score. It became one of the most read books in the world. And I think the reason is simple. It put language to something so many of us have quietly suspected our whole lives. That the body remembers what the mind sets aside. That the things we swallow, hold down, and carry do not disappear. They settle in. They wait. And sometimes, years later, they speak in ways no test can quite explain. Out of that understanding has grown a whole field of body-based healing, somatic therapy among it, built on one simple question. Instead of asking what is wrong with the body, what if we asked what the body is trying to say? Today's story lives where those threads meet. It's about a woman I have known most of my life. A choir director, a wife, a mother, a keeper of people's music. A woman who spent 5 years trying to fix the rocking until she found something that asked her that different question. Not how do we stop this, but what is your body trying to say? This is Kimberley's story. I call it The Woman Who Learned to Listen. It is told in my voice shaped from the time we spent together, and read back to her before anyone else heard it. Here's how it went. We grew up in the same town, a grade apart, crossing paths at singing competitions when we were young and serious about music. Years passed. When my family joined a new church, there she was, leading worship, directing the choir, and I was glad to join in. We became friends, the easy kind that come from shared community. Our daughters were the ones who went deeper, close enough that sisters is the right word. Which is to say, I knew Kimberley, but I did not know what she was carrying. When her intake form came through, I had to sit with it for a minute. Here was a woman I had watched stand in front of a choir every week, pull sound out of a room full of people, hold 100 moving pieces together with her hands and her ears and her whole body, and she had been doing all of it while the ground was moving underneath her. I wished I had known, and I was in awe that she had not let it stop her. Kimberley grew up in Collingwood. Good parents, a safe house. She is not a woman who reaches for grievance, and she will tell you so herself. But her father was a big man. He worked at the Canadian Mist Distillery. Dark eyebrows, a big, low voice. He could fill an arena, Kimberley said, with 10,000 of his closest friends. A huge extrovert. The more people he talked to in a day, the more energy he had. Her mother was the opposite. An introvert who did not thrive on crowds, who wanted to sit alone in a cubicle and be left to herself. She believed that the decent thing to do was to keep your thoughts inside your mouth, where they could not do damage. Kimberley learned a wider version of that lesson. She became a good girl. She kept things in. She did not cause trouble, did not say the harsh thing, did not let anything out that might make someone else uncomfortable. This is not a small skill. It takes years to learn and a whole body to maintain. She remembers one night sick in bed with a cold, coughing and coughing, unable to stop. And then her father's voice from the other room, "Stop that coughing." She pulled the covers up, went very small, and held it. That was the beginning, she told me. Holding stuff in. Be quiet. Hold it. Stop that. She went off to university, had her first child in second year, and kept going because keeping going was what she knew. She built a life around music and around all the people who needed her in it. She became a woman whose job was literally to hold a room together with sound. And she was very good at it. She was also, underneath all of it, an expert at tamping things down. Her family spent New Year's of 2019 in Barcelona. Traveling with family always carries a particular kind of weight for Kimberley. Stress she cannot put down, things she cannot say without starting a battle she cannot afford to finish. So she does what she's always done, holds it, keeps the lid on, moves through it. The travel was rough. Overnight was rougher. She is a bad sleeper at the best of times. And somewhere in the middle of all of it, the world started to move. She stood in the Airbnb and said to her family, "I just feel like I'm on a boat. The whole world is moving." What she did not know yet was that this had a name. Mal de Débarquement syndrome. MDDS, sickness of disembarkation, a neurological condition where the brain learns the rhythm of motion on a ship, on a plane, on a long drive, and then forgets how to stop. Most people feel a version of it for an hour after a flight. They shake it off. They go back to standing on solid ground. For some women, mostly women in midlife, the brain never lets go. The rocking stays. But Kimberley did not know any of this. She had felt it before, this rocking, on planes, on trains, after travel. She had always thought she was sensitive to motion, which is the tidiest explanation. And as it turned out, the wrong one. She thought it would pass when she got home. She got home, and it did not pass. The weeks turned into months. Standing in her kitchen trying to put an apple into a bag, she found the bag would not stay still. She was on level ground, and the ground was not. It was, she told me, like standing on an old wooden dock, with waves moving it up and down. She started looking for someone who could help her. She went to her GP. He had never heard of MDDS. She had her ears checked. They were perfect. She found a vestibular physiotherapist who gave her exercises she did for months. She found a specialist who knew the condition and did the exercises that specialist gave her, and waited and tried and waited. She tried acupuncture, osteopathy, massage, medication that flattened everything out and fixed nothing. Every one of those appointments was a small private hope. Every one of them ended in the same place. She kept showing up at the next one anyway, because what else do you do? 3 months after Barcelona, COVID arrived. Serendipitous, Kimberley calls it now. Her workload dropped almost to nothing. She told me she was grateful for it. I understood that immediately. And I want to say something here because I know what she was doing during COVID. What she built for her church, what she created during that time was not nothing. Not even close. But she needed the world to slow down enough that she could stop outrunning what her body was trying to tell her. That distinction matters. I knew I couldn't do it anymore, she said. My body was making me fall down when I was on level ground. Somewhere in the middle of the move to London, after weaning herself off the medication, too fast at first, and then slowly the right way, she made a quiet decision that this was probably just her life now. I'm just going to always feel like I'm on a boat. There is a particular kind of grief in that sentence. Not dramatic, not loud, just a woman deciding to stop fighting something and carry it instead. So many of us do this. We just keep going. Is it strength? I don't know if it's strength exactly. It is just what we know how to do. They settled into their new neighborhood in London. She walked it with her dog the way you do when a street is still new to you and you are still learning which neighbors wave back. One of those neighbors she came to know well over the months of those walks. And one day she mentioned the rocking, the way you mention something you have mostly made peace with. The neighbor said, "Have you ever tried somatic therapy?" Kimberley did not know what somatic therapy was. She had never been to a therapist. She was of the generation where you kept your thoughts inside your mouth and that turned out to extend to everything she had ever felt about her own body. Therapy for Kimberley carried a particular shame, a suggestion that you could not cope, that you were not holding it together well enough. The neighbor, it happened, was a somatic therapist herself. She could not treat Kimberley now that they were friends, but she gave her a list of names. And Kimberley, who had tried everything and was almost past the point of caring whether anything worked, made an appointment. She is honest about why she went. Her insurance covered the therapy. If it had cost her $150 an hour, she would not have gone. She wants other women to know that there are women everywhere walking around in bodies that need this kind of work, and so many of them cannot afford to access it. To me, this was in the same category, she said, as go do some voodoo. Maybe that won't work either. She went in absolutely certain that what she had was a physical problem caused by travel and motion. She came out a convert. Her therapist, Chantal, worked mostly through talk, quiet, unhurried sessions where Kimberley would find 5 minutes searching for words that did not come easily, and Chantal would wait. Sometimes at the end of a session, something quieter still. Tuning forks at different frequencies. A calm Kimberley described as very flat, which for her is a good thing. No anxiety in it, just quiet. Where do you feel that? Chantal would ask. Nobody had ever asked Kimberley where she felt things. They went back to Collingwood, back to the bedroom, back to the small girl pulling the covers over her head because her father said stop. And Chantal offered a different way to understand what she had been doing her whole life. Your emotions are like your children. When you have an emotion that is angry, you have to treat it like it's your child and say, what's wrong? Why are you feeling it? Rather than just pushing it down. Kimberley started paying attention differently. She would be at the kitchen counter chopping, and a wave would come. Instead of trying to stop it, she would go back 10 seconds. What had just happened before? What had she been holding? She's right. She kept finding that Chantal was right. The travel to Barcelona, the stress she had packed down, the years of stress before that, the childhood before those years, decades of going very small when the feelings got too big. Her body had not been misbehaving. It had been keeping score. She still rocks sometimes. She takes a suitcase out and she can feel the waves start before she has even packed anything. Now she breathes out, holds the air out as long as she can, empties herself, which is the opposite of everything her body ever learned. She goes back to Chantal for tune-ups when something large happens, gets straightened out, keeps going, but differently now. She's in a Facebook group for people with MDDS, thousands of them, still trying medications and therapies and Band-Aids, still not getting better. Kimberley comments sometimes. She tells them the only thing that helped was to get to the root cause. She stopped trying to fix the rocking and started asking what it was for. And this is a part I just want to sit with for a minute, because I do think it matters, far beyond Kimberley and far beyond MDDS. What somatic therapy gave her was not a cure for a condition. It was a way of listening to herself that she had never been taught. And there are women everywhere who grew up learning what Kimberley learned. Be quiet, hold it, don't cause trouble, keep your feelings inside your mouth. Women whose bodies have been keeping score for decades in ways that show up as pain, as illness, as an exhaustion no amount of sleep will fix. The body is not dramatic. It is just honest. And it will find a way to be heard. There is a song Kimberley has always disliked. From a film a whole generation of little girls has known by heart. She thought she just hated the song's philosophy. Let it go. To her ear, that sounded like a way of dismissing what was real. When she was reading her story back, she saw why she had such a reaction. The lyrics were her own life. A princess hiding what she was, being the good girl, never letting anyone see. She could have written those lyrics herself. She also saw what her work has been. Not to let it go. Her work has been to let it out, to name what was inside, to speak the unspoken thing. Letting it out, she told me, is much more work than letting it go. Kimberley is telling people about it. She does not fight the rocking anymore. She listens to it. She calls it her canary, the thing that tells her something is wrong before she can name it herself. I think about the bravery in that. I have been watching women at this stage of life for a long time. Some of them get smaller because the world has shown them that it's vicious and cruel. Some become a little more of a victim in their own lives year by year. They stop trying things. Kimberley did not. She grew up believing that needing help was a kind of failure, and she sat down in a quiet room anyway and let a woman she had never met ask her where she felt things. That's not a small thing. That is everything. Menopause arrived around her 50th birthday. Hot flashes, hormonal shifts, a body in the middle of its own reorganization. She thinks that was part of why the rocking would not settle the way it used to. Her body was already in the middle of something. Everything just got louder. She does say that she could not have done this in her 30s. No time, no room. She would have stayed on the medication, kept the lid on, and kept going. The work of listening to your own body, slowly, in a quiet room, requires a certain kind of space that her younger life did not give her. This, she says, is part of the gift of where she is now. The sort of blessing that it is, she said, to be at a stage in my life where I could listen. For 5 years, she tried to fix the rocking. In the end, the rocking fixed her. That is Kimberley's message to the woman who is still on the boat. Not that it will be easy, not that there is a quick answer, but that the rocking, whatever yours might look like, is not your enemy. It is your body asking to be heard, and you are allowed, at whatever age you are, to finally listen. That is the story as Kimberley gave it to me. After I shape each woman's story and read it back, I asked her to come back and sit with me so that I can ask her a few questions and she can answer in her own voice. Not to retell what you've just heard, just to speak to you directly from where she is standing now. Kimberley, thank you for trusting me with all of it. So, welcome back to Kimberly, and I'm just going to ask her our 3 questions. Question number 1 was, how did it feel to hear your story read back to you?
It was it was a really cool feeling. It was sort of like standing back and just being able to understand my own story in a different way from the way I had narrated it to myself. It just gave perspective, which is hard to get on yourself. It, you
Mhm.
can't, the eye can't see itself seeing. How can you truly understand your own story because you're just too much part of it. So yeah, it was good. It was really good for me, and it sort of gave me clarity about about sort of what had happened in a way. Um, it made it more clear to me that what I had seen as this challenge, this problem, this obstacle that needed to be overcome was actually just the greatest gift that my body could give to me. It was just this idea that this thing that I felt like I needed to fix ended up being the thing that fixed me. And the truth of that became clearly delineated when I read you telling my story. That's a lot of layers, isn't it?
But it's beautiful. That's beautiful that you could see that within the story. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
that's
And,
really
and
beautiful.
thank you. Thank you for telling me my story. You did a beautiful job. I was teary.
Well, that's my hope. Yeah, no, that's my hope. My hope is that people can see a different perspective in their own story. So, yeah.
Real
And
good.
I appreciate so much that you allowed me to hold it and let me do that. So that was something that was really important to me. That's good. I think it's beautiful the way that you heard that back. And if I was to ask you what is sort of alive in your body right now, what would you feel, or what's your answer to that?
Hmm. I was
Or
stumped with.
in your life, your body or your life right now?
I was really stumped with that. I was like, what's for dinner today? Sometimes that's the greatest or the most forefront of my challenges each day. Um, what's alive in my body? I would say I am just a feeling of gratitude, a feeling of thankfulness. Just that I have the time, and it's such a gift to have the time to be aware of myself and to take care of myself and to just to look at the world around me and stand in awe. I have the time to look at the trees and
Mm,
to smell the roses. And I know that's such a cliche, but literally yesterday on our Monday big walk, I dragged my husband across the street and said, "We have to smell that rose bush. It is too beautiful to walk by." So I feel, yeah, I feel thankful, and I just feel like it's just a time where I can look at the world.
hmm. Oh, that's lovely. Yeah, I like that. And then that it does sort of, this stage in their life gives us the time to pause a little bit that we may not have had before. So I appreciate that. And the third question is, if there was somebody, a woman who's like 3 steps behind you on their journey, what would be the advice you would give them?
Listen to yourself and trust the wisdom of your own body. Just in the way that we're so conditioned to fix. If we have a cut, we have to fix it. If we have a headache, we have to fix it. If we, and I realize there are things that happen to us that we do need to fix. We break our arm, we need to get it fixed. But sometimes those sort of longer lying undercurrent sort of, I'm doing quotation marks with my fingers here, problems are that canary in the coal mine, as you called it. Um, they're your body telling you what it needs.
Mhm.
And to ignore it is ignore at your own peril, right? You will pay the price if you don't listen to the wisdom of your own body.
That's huge.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. Yeah, that's a big lesson, and I think one that we all need to learn in our lives, right? So thank you for that.
Yes, I must say, I feel like the angels were watching me the day that I bumped into the woman who pointed me in the right direction uh, in terms of somatic therapy. I would never have come up with it on my own, but there she was, and she was someone that I'd come to trust, and I thought, got nothing to lose.
And through this story, you're going to be somebody else's angel. So
So
it's
I hope so. Is it? It's such a bizarre thing, but I think many people have, something going on in their body that is warning them in the same way.
Mhm.
Might not necessarily be that they feel like they're living on a boat, but there's always something that our bodies are telling us, and to listen and to honor that is so important.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's huge.
Mm-hmm.
Well, thank you for coming back on and answering those questions. And I also want to always give a platform for people if they have anything going on in their life that they want to promote. So, is there anything for you? I know you have the church, but is there any concerts, anything that you want to promote for yourself?
That was a hard question too. The church is always my thing, and just my passion is bringing children into the church, or bringing God into the life of children. So I would just say, if you've got kids, find a vacation Bible camp, or find a group, or some sort of venue where they can learn that there's a God that created this beautiful world, and they're part of it.
Thank you. That's amazing. My daughter has had many beautiful years at BBC with you, and so I completely understand where that has changed her trajectory in her life. Thank you, Kimberly. Before you go, stay with me for one small piece. I call it the sitting. A few quiet minutes to carry something with you. The medicine in this story was not a technique. It was attention. The simple, radical act of noticing what the body is saying without rushing in to fix it. So that is what we will sit with. A slow travel through the body from the top down. Noticing, not changing. If you are somewhere that you can be still, be still. If you are driving, maybe save this part for later. This is the sitting, a few quiet minutes just for you. Allow your eyes to soften or close, whatever feels right for you. Take one slow breath in and let it out. Not pushing, just letting. Again, breathe in. A little deeper this time. and let go. One more breath in. And let it out. Empty this breath completely from your body. Push it out all the way out. Now allow your breath to find its own rhythm. There is no need to manage it anymore. We are going to move through the body from the top down. And your only instruction is to just simply notice. You do not need to change anything. You do not need to fix anything. Whatever you find is allowed to be there. You are just visiting. Bring your attention to the top of your head, the crown of your head, that soft spot on a baby's head. That is your crown. And rest there for a moment, noticing whatever is present. Warmth, tingling, nothing at all. Nothing at all is also something to notice. Let your attention drift down to your forehead, your eyes, your cheeks, your ears, your jaw, your mouth. So much holding happens here that we forget it's holding. There is no need to release it. Just see it. Coming down through your throat. For many of us, this is where the unsaid things live, the words that stayed inside. If there's tightness, you do not need to do anything with it. Just let it know you noticed. That is enough. Coming down to your shoulders, and down the right arm to your fingertips, and your left shoulder coming down to your left fingertips, coming into your chest. Notice your breath moving. No need to change it. Just notice. Is it fast, slow, shallow, deep? It's all good. Moving from your chest to your belly, notice if it's soft or held. Down into your hips, down your right leg to your feet, and down your left leg to your feet. Your feet on the floor, the ground beneath them. Steady, holding you up without being asked. And for a moment, notice the entire body all at once. Maybe somewhere there is something that's speaking, a tightness, a flutter, a heaviness, an ease. You do not need to know what it means, and you do not need to fix it. But I will invite you to ask the question, what's wrong? What do you need? Don't go searching for the answer, but allow the question to float. Maybe today, maybe on a Tuesday while you're watching a sunset. If you allow yourself to listen, you may just hear an answer. And it is in the listening that is harder. But allowing the question to float without searching is the best way to hear the answer. Coming back to the noticing of your breath. Breathing in deeply. And exhaling all the way out. Let the air go all the way out. Every last bit. Empty yourself. Empty everything. And notice if there is one thing that you have been holding that you can let go. Begin to feel yourself in the chair, sense your hands and your feet, and when you are ready, you can open your eyes. Your body has been keeping your story all along. May you have the time, the tenderness, and the courage to listen. Thank you for joining me. If today's story moved you, send it to one woman you can name. That is what helps these stories find the women who need them. I will be back with another woman and another story in a couple of weeks. Until then, in love, light, and laughter,